Hello everyone, if I am audible, please let me know. If anyone is watching, please let me know if I am audible. Please let me know if I am audible. Hello everyone, if I am audible, please let me know. Okay. So guys, sorry for the delay. There was some network glitch, and very good morning to everyone. And this session is presented by me. My name is Ashish Bhargava, as you are aware about it. So in this class, we will basically discuss about the current affairs and as well as men's answer writing for the upcoming UPSC CSE 2020. Before starting the class, I would like to tell you that in the prelim section, which section is very important. So we will discuss in the entire class, and I will let you know the which one should be the very important topics for the upcoming exams. So here is a quote is make UPSC a dream that won't come in your sleep, but a dream which won't let you sleep. Now, further moving. So some tips that before going to start the class, you must go aware about the men's syllabus thoroughly, because if you are not aware about the what exactly the men's syllabus, so once you read it very carefully, the topics which I've mentioned in the newspaper, you will not get to know which topic we are going to cover, right? So basically, before starting the newspaper, you must keep aware about like what exactly the men's syllabus it is. Men's syllabus, which means I'm trying to tell you that GS 1, 2, 3 and 4 as well, right? So if you are not aware about the what exactly the men's syllabus, then how you get to know that which portion is very important in your examination, right? So always know about the syllabus and topics, and stay away the excessive political topics, like what the things is going on the UP election, what the things is going on the because the 5 state election is going now. So do not try to focus on the excessive political topics, because they will not ask in your examination, right? So stay away some Bollywood film industry and James Bond types of news, because they will not ask in your examination, right? Read the editorial section, and one of the many of the students are having query like which newspaper should we need to follow it, like the Hindu or Indian Express. So it's up to you. If your time allows to you, then go to both the newspaper, the main portion. Like if your time do not allow to you, then better way to the Hindu for the prelims perspective. And if you following like for the mains examination, then you need to follow like the Indian Express, right? Okay, make short notes of facts, figures, and diagram also, because that facts, figure, and diagram will help in the mains exam, because this will not exactly help in the prelims section. This will help you out in the mains examination. So here is the topic, is the important topic of the first week, like MSP, Unicitral, ECOWAS. MSP is basically the GS3 portion, GS3 mains. Like once we read the news, keep in mind, ask it yourself, are we following the trend of like the examination, like what kind of question earlier has been asked that is based on MSP, right? So Unicitral, ECOWAS, India quiet diplomacy on Ukraine, that upcoming issue that is going on in an exam. Partygate, employment in India, that is very important, because this article is important. Why it's so? Because the reason behind the this section, employment in India, has been written by Niti Aayog uh, person. So we must need to be focused on the where the government is going to attention on the topics. Okay. So here is the first topic. Center has adopted MSP, but the state must facilitate crop shift. So as we are a bit aware about like MSP, that the minimum support price. So keep in mind this one. So prelims is an which portion we are going to cover once we following this one news. So prelims is an agriculture section. Men's, if you talk about, so men's like GS paper third, like Indian economy plus agriculture, because this one is the overlapping chapter of Indian economy and as well as agriculture, right? And the sub theme is that issue related to diet and diet farm subsidy and minimum support price. So keep in mind this syllabus. Try to cram all the syllabus given by the UPSC, like GS 1 till 4, because this will help you out like which section is important, and ask it yourself whether the question has been asked earlier in the based on the topic or not. if the earlier trend like 3 to 4 years, 5 years, they will not ask the question that is based on this one. So you not need to pay attention on the on that particular topic, right? So here it is about okay, now this one. So first brief about the MSP. As we know, minimum support price is the rate at which the government purchase crops from the farmers, and it is based on the calculation of at least 1.5 times the cost of production incurred by the farmers. So you always keep in mind this one, like 1.5 times, right? So MSP is the minimum support price, is the rate of at which government purchase crops from the farmers. It means farmers से हम crop purchase करते हैं. In that case, we use the government procured the government procured and purchased from the farmers. That is going to be a MSP. Or keep in mind, this is announced by the government before the sowing season, right? So MSP is the minimum support price, and for any crop that the government of considers as remunerative for farmers and hence deserving of support crops under MSP. And who is recommends the MSP for the crops like CACP? So I have mentioned the short form CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, recommend MSP for 22 mandated crops. And FRP is basically for the sugarcane. So in the earlier UPSC prelim section, it has been asked like fair and remunerative price FRP is for. So for FRP is for the sugarcane, and CACP like Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price recommends for MSP for 22 mandated crops. CACP is an attached office of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers. So if you are in the prelim section, if you look it very carefully, the what the question trend it is. So maximum time they will ask you the question that is based on the which one is the department, attached department of. Suppose that in your exam they will ask CACP, the attached department of Ministry of Agriculture only. So always pay attention the word like Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, not only the Ministry of Agriculture, right? The mandated crops include 14 crops of the Kharif season, 6 from the Rabi crops, and 2 other are the commercial crops. So 14, 6 is 20, and 22 crops. 2 is the commercial crops, 14 is the Kharif season, and 6 for the Rabi crops. In addition to that, the MSP for Toria and House coconut are fixed for the basis of MSP, right? Mustard or copra respectively. So now further moving. So here is a UPSC men's question that is directly based on the MSP. So why this topic is very, very important. So the question asked in the UPSC 2019, like what are the methods used by the farmers organization to influence the policy makers in India, and how effective are these methods? So how you will cover such kind of questions? So basically like introduction, first you need to do the introduction, then you have to follow the body and as well as conclusion. Introduction, body, and as well as conclusion. So in intro part you have to mention the what exactly the method used by the farmers, why MSP is very important, right? In the next body section that you will how it is influence the policymakers in India, and the third part that how effective these methods, but how the farmers is getting advantage of using these methods, right? In the second section, like is asked in the UPSC 2018 mains exam, what do you mean by the minimum support price? How will MSP rescue the farmers from the low income trap? So how we will cover, so in the upcoming slide I'm going to cover this one, how exactly you need to write it. Third one is how do subsidies affect the cropping pattern, crops diversity and economy of farmers? What is the significance of crop insurance, minimum support price, and food processing of small and marginal farmers? Okay. So here is a art of mains answer writing. Do not keep in mind that from the day one you not need to write from the mains answer writing. Once you have covered the syllabus from GS 1 till 4, then you need to follow. You need to focus on the answer writing. Initially, gradually you will focus like the previous year question is the best source for the of your answer writing, right? So here is the question is what do you mean by minimum support price? How you will MSP rescue the farmers? So intro, why do we need MSP? From there you need to start. the introduction portion. Body part, what you have to write, what is MSP, CSEP recommends, as we got to know that what is a CSEP. Government announced before the sowing season. So almost the origin portion you need to write about the maximum, like around 60 to 70 words. 60 to 70 words if there is a question of 10 markers, right? If there is a 15 markers, then you need to write around maximum 100 to 110 words in the introduction portion, intro portion. Make sure that not more than that. How it save farmers, like distress sell, informed decision, benchmark for private buyers. So once we body part, we need to cover this one part, this one, like this, how it distress sell, how it informed decision, and conclusion part, like positive tone and negative tone if you are talking about. So like constructive criticism, you need to follow it. So constructive criticism, which means you can go against the government, but not in such a manner that examiners are looking very carefully, like because being a bureaucrat, you are going to follow the policy and implement in your area. So do not try to like too much criticism about the government, right? So what exactly the mistake are doing by the students? Critically examining the fault in present MSP system. This is not the demand of the questions. You not need to follow this one. Shifting the spotlight from farmers to mandi agent and disgracing towards how crop insurance and irrigation as MSP, and dissecting the MSP A2 plus FL. This is not required in the questions, right? So try to understand what exactly the demand of the question. Are you following in the demanding of the question, like how MSP rescue the farmers? So we have followed like intro, body and conclusion. So keep in mind that intro, body and conclusion, IBC. So always follow such kind of pattern once you're going to write answer writing. So according to the passage, there is an urgent need for the crop diversification in the view of severe water stress in the areas where paddy, wheat and sugarcane are grown, as well as to increase oil seed production and reduce dependency on imports of cooking oil. So what exactly the question, the passage is talking about? Crop diversification, which means government wants crop diversification, which means that government wants that in the place of like sugarcane, wheat and paddy, it requires maximum amount of water. So it causes the reduces of water amount, like the if we use too much this one, like paddy, wheat and sugarcane. So in that case, इन तीनों क्रॉप्स के लिए अगर हमें ज्यादा पानी की जरूरत होगी, तो इन दैट केस क्या होगा, वाटर स्ट्रेस की पॉसिबिलिटीज हो जाएगी, राइट? वाटर स्ट्रेस की मतलब संभावना ज्यादा होगी. वाटर स्ट्रेस विच मींस दो ग्राउंड वाटर होगा हमारा, जो पीने वाला ड्रिंकिंग वाटर है उसकी मतलब वो क्या होगा, कम होगा. और एज वी नो दैट इन अ फार्मिंग सेक्शन वी यूज इन द ग्राउंड वाटर, राइट? So there is an urgent need for crop diversification. Government want crop diversification, which means instead of paddy, wheat and sugarcane, you need to follow some other crops as well, so that we will not suffering from the water stress issues, right? So oil seed production and reduce dependency on imports of cooking oil, because as we know that we are importing the cooking oil from, and maximum cooking oil, that is which oil we import maximum. So basically palm oil. So maximum import from India, that is a palm oil, right? Well, center had adopted minimum support price, the farm producer key to the encourage crop diversification, because government want to keep crop diversification. It means in the place, for example, in the particular soil is here, like alluvial soil is here, and for example you are growing like such kind of crops. So somehow if we follow the crop diversification which the government wants, in that case the fertility and the fertility of that particular soil would be increased, right? Or we will not face the like water stress issues. So state take coordinated action to facilitate to shift towards crop and higher value and lower value consumption. Now the survey urged for an increase the funding for the agriculture research, and government says that every rupee spent on agriculture research and development yields better returns compared to returns on money spent on subsidies or expenditure or inputs. Basically, like as you know, the word we have used, disguised employment, disguised unemployment, and maximum disguised employment as we occurred in the agriculture sector. So maximum number of portion is from the agriculture sector. And what exactly the issue it is because the reason, because if the maximum person, like disguised employment is what, basically number of person required more than that. For example, in a particular area there is around 20% required, right? The 20% only required, and for example 30% is engaged in such activity, so that is not to be a disguised employment. In agriculture sector, if you look it very carefully, so इसमें जितने भी employment है वो गवर्नमेंट को आउटपुट उस हिसाब से नहीं मिल पाता, मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल 20% उसमें इन्वॉल्व है तो उसमें 30 लोग उसमें काम कर रहे हैं, राइट? सो बेसिकली इनकी नीड नहीं है, 10% की नीड नहीं है, बट दे आर जस्ट इन्वॉल्विंग, मतलब छोटे छोटे काम कर रहे हैं उसमें। तो व्हाट गवर्नमेंट वांट्स कि जो एक्सपेंडिचर है उसमें डिस्गाइज एम्प्लॉयमेंट है वो एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में बहुत ज्यादा उसे कम करने की जरूरत है। Government noted that agriculture continued to be a major driver of the economy in the pandemic era. The sector growth rate of 3.62 to 2021, as we can see, in the rising sector, because in the pandemic time, as you can say, the three the sector growth, the agriculture sector growth rate rising from 3.6% in 2021 to 3.9% in 2021 and 2022. So this data, so please keep carry a separate notebook so you can write like this data, because this one is very very helpful. Okay, here is a prelims question that is based on MSP. The economic cost of food grain to the Food Corporation of India is minimum support price and bonus, if any, paid to the farmer plus. Here's UPSC pre-question 2019. So try to solve the question. Take your time, maximum 1 minute, and solve this question. Okay, so here is the question is basically asking about the economic cost of food grains of Food Corporation of India, like FCI we are talking about, a minimum support price and bonus, if any, paid to farmer plus. Transportation cost only. This cannot be the answer because MSP is not given transportation cost, interest cost we cannot say. Procurement incidental and distribution cost, yes. Procurement incidental and charge for godowns, that government are not paying for the charge for godowns, right? So this one is the correct one, like procurement incidental, but charge for godown is not government is paying with the help of MSP, right? So the right answer is C1. So here is the sources of the question is like page number 1-17, Economic Survey 2017-18, volume 2, right? Now economic survey has been published and the budget has been announced that I will give you the separate class on based on that, but do not focus too much on the budget and the economic survey, because hardly there is 1 and 2 question is based on that. So economic cost of food grains consists of three components, like first one pooled cost of grains, pooled cost of grain, which means that individual cost of grains, which is weighted MSP of the stock of food grains available with the FCI. Procurement incidental, and third one is cost of distribution. So the answer would be C, as we have discussed. Now this one again, the question that is asked in the UPSC 2020, in the case of all cereals, pulses and oil seed, the procurement at minimum support price is unlimited in any state or UT of India. In the case of cereals and pulses, the MSP is fixed in any state or UT at a level to which the market price will never rise. So tell me which one is the right answer. Take your time guys and try to solve the question. I hope you got the answer now. So if you look at the very carefully, the option itself is giving the answer in this question. In case of all cereals, pulse and oil seed, the procurement at MSP is unlimited in any state. As you know, the statement itself is wrong, because you know what, the all cereals, pulses and oil seeds, that we are not giving the procurement of unlimited up to any state and UT of India. As we have the information, the first statement is incorrect one. First statement incorrect one. Second, in case of cereal and pulse, the MSP is fixed in any state at level in which the market price will never rise. Because the maximum time, as we know, like in the state of UP, so the APMC mandi, so farmers will go to the Punjab to get the maximum price. It's more than like MSP. So in the case of cereal, the pulses MSP is fixed in any state at a level which the market price will never rise. So this cannot be the right answer. So here is the statement given us about the which one is the correct one. So neither 1 and 2 is the right answer. So successive economic survey have highlighted that government open-ended procurement is limited to wheat and rice only. And even after PM Asha reforms, procurement is not done for all the cereal for which MSP is announced, like jowar, bajra, ragi. So first one is the wrong one. Market factor of supply and demand may create a scenario where market price of cereal pulses may rise higher than MSP, right? So market players are not legally bound to keep their price lower or higher than MSP. So basically, both the statement were incorrect. Next, here is adopted UNICITRAL for cross-border insolvency. IBC is, as you are aware about where is IBC is used, like you know, insolvency and bankruptcy code. So IBC, this section is basically for the prelims syllabus, that IR or somewhere like in the economy section also. And international relation, what we covered, important international relations is institution, agency and fora. Fora is basically is the plural form of forum, their structure and mandate. So here UPSC main questions are based on IR, that is a ECO SOS, that is United Nation Economic and Social Council. Explain different functional commissions attached to it. Second one, some of the international funding agencies have special terms for economic participation, stipulating and substantial component of the aid to be used for sourcing equipment. So there are various questions that are asked on UN and their organization. So economic survey 2021-22, because you know, till one of the maximum, like we can say the economic survey has been released. So lots of article we will see in your exam that is based on economic survey. So economic survey has called for the standard framework for cross-border insolvency and bankruptcy code IBC. At present does not have any instrument to restructure firms involving cross-border jurisdiction. It was territorial, because in the territory of India we have such rules, but beyond that territory that we don't have any rules for that. So we are discussing this one, cross-border jurisdiction. The proposal to frame robust cross-border insolvency framework has already been highlighted in the report of Insolvency Law Committee, so which recommend what, UNICITRAL, like United Nations Commission for International Trade and Law. UN and their organization, the maximum time they will ask in the prelims and as well as mains exam. So keep focus on that. UNICITRAL on cross-border insolvency 1997 has emerged the most widely accepted legal framework to deal with the cross-border insolvency issues, and it has been adopted by 49 countries such as Singapore, UK, US, South Africa and Korea. The law works on 4 main principles which we need to follow, like access, recognition, cooperation and coordination. So keep in mind that this law is work on 4 main principles, that is based on access, recognition, cooperation and coordination. We must have some brief idea about what exactly the UNICITRAL is. UNICITRAL is United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, is a core legal body. Sometimes in your exam they will ask like UNCITRAL is a not a legal body, so that statement would be incorrect. It's the core legal body of the United Nations system in the field of international trade law, a legal body which universal membership specializing in commercial law reform worldwide for 50 years. Unilateral business is the modernization and harmonization of rules on international business. So basically, unilateral is a legal body, and that is work on field of international trade law. So unilateral plays a key role in developing that framework in the pursuit of its mandate to further the progressive harmonization and modernization of the law of international trade. The implement its mandate unilateral maintain close link with the international and regional organization. So keep in mind, unilateral maintain close link with the international and regional organization as well, both intergovernmental or non-governmental. That is active participant the work program of the unilateral and the field of international trade law. Basically, unilateral works on the international trade law to facilitate an exchange of ideas and information. It is represented through the secretariat at meeting of those organizations and actively follows and participates in their work where it relates to topic on unilateral work program. These organizations include, because it means that unilateral is basically works on with these organizations also. UNCTAD, it means United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, because there are lots of questions in your prelims exam that is asked on such organization. So keep a short notes like what the organization basically works for this, like OECD, like WIPO, like WTO, like CMI, CFA, IBA. Okay, so here is a UPSC prelims question that is based on UN funds, programs, and agencies. So what is are the importance or importances of UN Convention of Combat Desertification, which means the UNCD? Like the first one is it aims to promote effective action through innovative national programs and supportive international partnership. Yes, the positive tone, and UNCD works on that, promoting the innovative national program and supportive international partnership. The first one is correct one. It has a special particular focus on South Asia and North Africa region. So basically, it's a question talking about UNCD. UNCD is especially attention on only South Asia and North Africa region. So this one is the incorrect one. So where is 2? Here is 2. So we can easily eliminate. Here is 2. We can easily eliminate. So now we are left with the option A and C. Let's focus on the third one. Option is here. It is committed to bottom-up approach, encouraging the participation of local people in combating the desertification. So yes, third one is the correct one. So 1 and 3 is the right answer. So yes, UNCD is basically United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification to promote effective action through innovative national programs. And as per the convention, statement third is right. The UNCCD focused on Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Caribbean, North Mediterranean, and Central and Eastern Europe also. So if you, the question is this, basically only is South Asia and North Africa. So this one, that's why the statement would be in. Okay, so guys, sorry for the network glitch is here. Okay, so basically it's a UN organization. Basically it's a UNICEF, UNAIDS, IEA, and UN Women. So UN Habitat also, that is very important, because in your prelims exam it has question has been asked earlier, that is what exactly is UN Habitat works for that. So here it is. With reference to the role of UN Habitat in United Nations program working towards a better urban future, which is the statement is not correct. And this question has been asked in UPSC 2017. So here we can see UN Habitat has been mandated by the UN Nation General Assembly to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities to provide adequate shelter for all. That could be. Its partners are either government or local urban authorities only. So Second statement is incorrect one. Third one, UN Habitat contributes to the overall objective of the United Nations system to reduce poverty and promote access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. Yes, third is also correct. So if you eliminate the second option B1, so where is the second? Here is second, here is second. So yes, we can easily eliminate the option A and C. Now we are left with B and D. So third is also correct one. So yes, B, 1 and 3 is the right answer. So official organization website like UN Habitat also partner with the private organizations also and civil society. So here it is mentioned, it partners are either government or local urban authorities. So because UN Habitat is also partner with the private entities also, so it partners are either government or local urban authorities. That is not the correct, the incorrect statement is here, so that's why we choose the answer B1. Okay, again is here IUCN with reference to the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, IUCN. So Convention on International Trade and Endangered Species or Wild Flora and Fauna CITES. Which of the following statements are correct? So IUCN is an organ of the United Nations and CITES is an international agreement between governments. So always keep in mind, IUCN is not an organ of United Nations. IUCN is not the organization of United Nations. Because you know what exactly the work of IUCN? Because IUCN is an international organization that works in the field of conservation of world's flora and fauna, right? So this is the important international body, especially in the light of IUCN Red List. So in the because IUCN is not a UN United Nations body. Because IUCN main work is that to announcing the which one is a red list, which one is a flora and fauna is in the red list, threatened species, the more threatened species or being threatened like extinction. So that is the work of basically IUCN. So this is not an organ of United Nations. So if we eliminate the option A, first one, so we can easily got the answer like this one. We can, here is 1 1 1. So A, C, D cannot be the answer, so we are left with the answer B. Such kind of techniques you can apply in your examination as well. Okay. So CITES is a legally binding on the states that have joined it, but the convention does not take the place of national laws. Here is next article is Burkina Faso suspended from the AU, African Union following coup. So prelims section that we are covering this one, IR international organization. Mains is like international relation topic is important international institution, agency and fora and their structure mandate. So let's further moving. So African Union on suspended Burkina Faso a week after volatile country suffered its latest coup. So we have to understand what exactly the ECOWAS is. The Economic Community of West African States. ECOWAS is basically Economic Community of West African States. ECOWAS are 15-member countries that are located in the Western Africa region. These countries have both cultural and geopolitical ties. So these countries have both cultural and geopolitical ties. Shared common economic interests. The region of West Africa located with the to north-south axis line close to 10 degree east longitude. Now once we are see this one close to 10 degree east longitude, try to find it out in the map. So which one is, where is the exactly the is West Africa region and where is close to 10 degree east longitude. Economic Community of West Africa State ECO was established on May 28, 1975 via the Treaty of Lagos. So in your exam they can be asked like ECOWAS was established via Treaty of, they will ask something else. So you need to keep in mind it's the Treaty of Lagos. ECOWAS is a 15-member general regional group that with a mandate of promoting economic integration in the fields of all fields of activity and constituting country. Member countries are there lots of like Burkina Faso, like Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Mali, So there are lots of countries here. Atlantic Ocean forms the western as well as southern border of West Africa region. So try to find it out. The country name is which I mentioned here, and which countries, if there is any important river, and if there is any country, an important river, and as well as the bordering country, because such kind of question asked in your examination earlier, and they will probably to be asked in the next exam. So northern border is the Sahara Desert, and with the Rani Shanu Bend generally considered the northernmost part of the region. The eastern border lies between the Benue Tro and the line running between Mount Cameron to Lake Chad. So try to find it on the location on map as well. Where is the country? Where is the northern border of Sahara Desert? So here is the ECOWAS. Here is we can see the Mali. Here is Niger. Here is Nigeria. Here is Benin. So find it out which river is passing through the Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso to this one region, so that you can get to know that what exactly the question they can frame in your exam. Here we can see is in South Africa region, Western Africa part is here, Western Sahara is here. So because it is northern border is Sahara Desert and Cape Verde, there are lots of countries here, but you have to focus on this region only. The question can be framed from this region. Now India calls for quiet diplomacy on Ukraine. Very important article because this will cover into IR portion, international relation. What the main syllabus is: bilateral, regional and global grouping, an agreement involving India and effective India's interest. So here is the term is diplomacy. It has been used. So what exactly the mean the word diplomacy? Because if you don't know the exact meaning what the is, then no need to then you will not get to understand what exactly the question is. So basically what exactly the difference between foreign policy and diplomacy? So basically foreign policy is what exactly is foreign policy? Foreign policy which means guiding principle. Foreign policy which means guiding principle to build friendly relation with the country, like Panchsheel principle, Lukist policy, Gujarat doctrine. So that is known to be a foreign policy, right? What exactly diplomacy? Diplomacy is basically the act or activity, basically act and activity we follow to build good relationship with country. Quiet diplomacy which means neutral, right? Silent, we won't speak, like NAM, like non-aligned movement. NAM, that is non-aligned movement. We were in that case the India were not the side of USSR and USA. So sometimes India is playing a very sometimes India is silent in such kind of things. So that's why we have used the word here is quite diplomacy. So here is the bilateral issues the question had been asked earlier. India called for quiet diplomacy and the peaceful resolution of Russia-Ukraine tension, speaking the UN Security Council. So in UNSC, India is a non-permanent member of UN Security Council, and immediate de-escalation of the situation while taking into account the security interest of all. India support for the July 2020 ceasefire. Ceasefire, it means that what exactly the mean of ceasefire, the terms of IR. What exactly is mean the word of ceasefire? Ceasefire basically is the meaning of like we don't fight, we don't need like an agreement between two groups to stop fighting each other. That is known to be a ceasefire. So India has also called for quiet diplomacy as both West led by the US, Russia have been talking tough publicly. Quiet and constructive diplomacy is need of the hour. See, any step that increases tension may best be avoided by all sides in the larger interest, because in this pandemic the country is facing from the economic crisis. India is one of the three countries, Kenya and Gabon, that stand from a procedural vote on whether or not Ukraine would be discussed. So China and Russia voted against the move as well. Here is UK Partygate, and this is not too much this will not too much important for the exam points of view, but sometimes the question can be framed from here. because the reason is Partygate. So sometimes they will ask, like in the prelim section, like Partygate sometimes seen in news is what. So in prelims related question that they can be asked, and basically governance issues here, as we can know the US sorry UK president is in the time of lockdown they were partying to each other. Okay. So basically, partying is ongoing political scandal surrounding gathering of United Kingdom. The time when the लोग घरों में थे और यहाँ के लोग पार्टी कर रहे थे बेसिकली, तो इसके बारे में ये है कि that is a what is it, the party gate. So what I said, like party gate sometimes in news is what. So basically it's a political scandal surrounding gathering of UK. When there were public health restrictions that were prohibited, especially a specific type of gathering, and at that time there was party staff, and that took precedence in COVID-19 pandemic. Basically, now this one is very important. So here is a hazy picture on employment in India. So here we can quote it from the social security portion, like from the and the points of in the essay section you can quote it here, like what is the employment issue in basically in India. So these two person is from the Niti Aayog, so we must know the where is government is keep eyeing on the such kind of article. Here the main syllabus is like social security, GS2, and Indian economy, something like Indian economy initially in planning, mobilization, resources, growth, development, and employment. So basically data is very important if you look at this carefully in this question. So the two important indicators of a structural transformation of any economy are: first one, so rate of growth, because rate of growth is talking like how the country is progressing about it, and second is change in the structural composition of output and the workforce. So GVA is growth rate of economy measured by GVA. What exactly is GVA is talking about? What exactly is GVA? GVA is, how can you measure GVA? Because growth rate of the economy measured by GVA at the constant price. So we will discuss what exactly is GVA. Accelerated from 4.27% in 20 years before the economic reforms. Economic reforms in basically we're talking about like 1991, when the privatization, LPG reforms is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. To 6.3% 20 years following the reforms, and 6.58 between 2010 and 11, and 1920 and 2011-20. The growth trajectory was accompanied by a steady decline in agriculture from 30% in 1991 when the time of LPG reforms to 18% in 1990. So as we can see, 30% to 18%. So we can see the decline is here, and a steady decrease in the share of non-agricultural output in the total economic output. Non-agricultural output, which means that is not related to the agriculture. Data show increase the worker to population. Worker to population, which means what exactly the meaning of worker to population? So basically worker to population, which means that a total population by working age population. Working age, which means 15 to 16 as per the government of India, the working age is 15 to 64. So working age total population by working age population, that is known to be a WPR. And data shows that 34.7% 2017-18 to 38.2% 2019 and 20. So this data is very important because in your mains exam you can quote like the terms of like once we asked about the question about the employment. So what is exactly GVA? GVA is basically goods and service produced output and minus intermediate consumption. So let me explain what exactly is GVA for the practical example, because you will not never forget. For example, there is a cake, right? Its price is rupees 25. I am going to explain in a very lucid manner so that you will never forget about what exactly is GVA. because until and unless you will not understand the economic terms, that you will not understand what exactly the passage is talking about. So GVA is basically, for example, there is a cake which price is rupees 25, right? So in order to prepare the cake, so we need like egg, like wheat flour, and like third one, like we can say for example some other ingredients also, some other ingredients. For example, egg price is rupees 2, wheat flour is price is for example 4, and other ingredients is 6. So if we, this one is an intermediate consumption, this one is intermediate consumption, like 4 6 10 to 12. Goods and service produce output, here is a cake is here is output. So if we minus like 25 minus 12, so what we got, 13 rupees. So rupees 13 is basically is the GVA, that is gross value added. So do not try to cram this one like goods and service produced output minus intermediate consumption equal to GVA, because you will be forgot in your exam, right? So basically GVA, I think you got it, what exactly GVA. So here is a cake which has produced, like the output is rupees 25. In order to prepare the cake, so we must have ingredients like egg, wheat flour, and this one other ingredient. So here is 2 rupees is egg, 4 and 6 12. So once we minus, here is the intermediate consumption. So once we subtract from 25 minus 12, so we got 13 rupees. So here is a GVA. I hope you got to know what exactly is GVA. So there is a reversal of a previous trend which shows a decline in WPR from 2004 to 5. This change implies the employment has increased at much faster rate growth in population. So basically increase of WPR has been reported in the rural and urban population and the male and female population. So female WPR ratio increased 17.5 to 24% between 1718 to 1920. This is a very good data. You can quote from, like, once you are going to write an essay part also, so we can quote it here. Like female WPR ratio increased from 17.5% to 24% between 2017 to 18 and 2019 and 20, right? So the gap between male and female work participation is also narrowing down. So basically, if we talk about gender discrimination, so here is we are like narrowing down the gender discrimination, because the female work participation is increased 17.5 to here is 24%. Like in 2017 and 18 there was 17.5%, and here is 2019 and 20 there was 24%. So 2 against 100 male workers, there are around 32 female workers in workforce. The number increase. Optimistic is asking okay, WPR quiz came in the SBI PMS 2020-21 ratio. Okay. Yes, so you see, because there are lots of question, economy based question is asked in the banking sector exam also, because you must aware about, and this article is basically written by the Niti Aayog person. So you must aware, because Niti Aayog person that is very well qualified, and in that panel, they are discussing about what the government is pay attention on such kind of things. Okay, the number increased 40 to 2020, women constitute 24% of the workforce in the country, and 2017-18 and 28 point yes Adarsh, I got it, 28.8% 2019 and 20. So the unemployment rate in the female labor force in rural areas is far lower than the male labor force, where the opposite holds true in the urban areas. Why it's so? As we can see, the Hindu is emphasizing on this one, employment rate in female labor force. Female labor force, because the reason behind, female labor force participation in rural India 33%, that is higher than rate of urban area, because I told you that there was a disguised employment. Maximum number of employed person is employing in the agriculture sector. So this can be the reason behind it. The reason could be that there was a less gender discrimination in the informal jobs. So can you tell, like Adarsh, like what exactly mean the like formal jobs and informal jobs? Like as per the government of India, what exactly the meaning of formal jobs and informal jobs? So formal jobs, see, if we talk about like our the formal jobs, what exactly the basically meaning of that formal jobs? Once we get the one social security. social, once we get the one social security, at least one, like for example EPFO, like from the ESIC, that is a formal security. So what that is known to be a formal jobs, and what we know to be informal jobs like Swiggy workers, like the Zomato workers, that is known to be informal jobs. So informal jobs, once we don't get any social security, government is planning to do this. Government is planning to do this. What exactly the informal jobs is talking about? So basically, the formal jobs and informal jobs, what exactly the difference? So in anywhere, once we talk about like formal jobs and informal jobs, so basically the reason behind the formal jobs is basically once we know the one, once we get the one social security, that is known to be a formal jobs. Once we don't have any social security, like the, if you talk about like Zomato and Swiggy workers, they don't have any social security. Government is emphasizing on the gig workers. As we know about the terms that has been used is gig economy, right? So what exactly the meaning of gig economy or gig workers? So basically, you are aware about, if you are reading the Hindu regularly, you got to know what exactly is gig workers. So basically, government is trying to focus on gig economy. So the number of unemployed person has increased from 2.3 million between 2017-18 and 2018-19, mainly because of increase of number of job seekers, right? Working hours, yes, exactly, we can say working hours also fixed. So sectoral composition of workforce show that 45.6% in the workers in India are engaged in agriculture and allied activities. So 30.8% is service sector and industry. So as we can see, there is a too much gap. There is a too much gap in like in the service sector, because maximum number of employment is the in India is the service sector. Sorry, agriculture sector. But output is quite less in the terms of GDP. So that's why government is focusing, as we can see, 45.6% engaged in agriculture and allied activities, 30.8% service, 23% industry. So government is trying to focusing on the manufacturing sector as well, because most of the developed nation, like if you talk about Japan, USA, they are in the focusing on the like the manufacturing sector, which India is lagging behind it, right? So that a majority of new entrants to the labor force between 2017-18 and 19-20 absorbed by agriculture sector has a serious implications. So young labor force which is getting increasing educated cite more remunerative work outside agriculture, but only a few succeeded. So that's why government is focusing. Industry and service sector have adopted capital intensive, which means where it requires more money. So this is getting further aggravated with the rising population of modern technology like artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. The dichotomy between a rising share of industry and service of national income without a sizable increase in employment share is fairly well established for the post-liberalization India. So post-liberalization India after 1991, after the LPG reforms, government is focusing on basically on the manufacturing sector. So still we didn't get such kind of like, that's why government is promoting like entrepreneurship. So besides this, there is an urgent need for generate much more employment. So if the person is like for example service sector, for example if I am working in a banking sector, so I will not generate some kind of jobs, right? But if I am an entrepreneur, for example if I have started a one school in a rural area, so I am generating lots of employees is there. For example, a peon is working there, for example a chai wala is working there, for example a newspaper vendor is working there, for lots of teacher is working there, so I am generating a job. So government, that's why promoting the entrepreneurship and the as well as like manufacturing sector. So that's why it's urgent need for the generate much more employment, because we have limited number amount of yes, large number of India population is in agriculture only, yes, we can say. So what the government should need to do, change in labor laws which discourage industry to adopt labor intensive production. As we can see, there are lots of labor, they are illiterate in our country, and there is such kind of vulnerable section. So they are not aware about, like they will not get the social security as well. So there should be some labor laws that should be enacted. Employment linked production incentive and special assistance to labor intensive economic activities. So such kind of a step the government need to do it for the well-being of the and welfare of the people, right? So this article is very important. So guys, in this class we got to know, once I will get the time, that we will discuss the economic survey, and as well as, like, and budget session as well. So if you have any query and any doubts, so please let me know in the comment section as well. I will give you reply once the time allows to me. So in the next class, we will discuss like entire week current affairs. If you have any doubts and query, you can contact to me. The number is already given. So in the next class we will discuss soon the lots of topics. So guys, thank you for joining us. If you have any query, please let me know. Bye bye, take care, and we will meet in the next class. Thank you guys, and take care.